Hello, and welcome back to another episode of A Better World with Adrienne. I am Adrienne. I am your host. I am a life magician, and I believe in a better world. I believe in a world we're proud of. I believe in a new earth, and a new earth is now. So this podcast, this space exists for you to expand, heal, level up, and grow in your leadership. And at the time of this recording, it is May 15th, 2023. And I myself have been going through a major transformation. The collective is going through a major transformation. When we had eclipse season, we had Mercury in retrograde at the same time. If you hear, there's birds outside my window chirping, and they're here with us. And today's episode is very potent and very important. So let's drop in together. Many of you may know I'm part of my medicine, how I help my clients, how I serve the world is through breathwork journeys and healing the nervous system through the breath. So at the beginning of every podcast, I like to take 3 deep breaths together. And on the altar for today's podcast is just one thing. And well, that's not true. There's multiple things, but there's one crystal, one amethyst crystal that has been guiding me for the past 6 months. And then there's just a quote that says, everything you do is sacred. And so this transmission is sacred. Every breath we get on this planet is sacred. So feel your feet on the ground beneath you. Allow yourself to be seen and known for where you are right in this moment. Inhale through your nose, connecting our minds. Exhale out the mouth, letting go of anything you were carrying before this episode. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale through the nose. Opening your body up to possibility and transformation. Exhale out the mouth. 1 more like that. Inhale through the nose. Feel your feet beneath you. Feel the love in your heart. Exhale out the mouth. Okay. Blink open your eyes, and we are back. We are in this transmission, and today's podcast is called Unconditional Courage. And I really came to this title, this chapter in my life and business, and this whole chapter of unlocking a new earth. And I kept just hearing the words courage. And to me, courage is the most important part of leadership. It's the most important part of a better world. It's the most important part of making dreams. It's the most important part of manifestation. It's the most important part of healing. It's the most important part of everything. Because in the words of Maya Angelou, without courage, we cannot practice any other value consistently. And so today, I just want to dive into something that I really came to. Not only is it courage, it's unconditional courage. It's unconditional courage. So what do I mean by that? So whether you are someone who has a business, whether you're someone who believes in sharing your gifts as part of a better world, like through different portals of jobs, the roles you play in your personal life, in your family, like all of it. If you're going to be an important contributor of a new earth, it requires unconditional courage, because what's occurring is the path ahead is being revealed to us, and it will be full of adversity. It will be full of challenge, because whenever you're innovating, you're not taking the road less traveled. Let's be real. You're making a new fucking road. That's what we're doing. And people aren't going to get it. And it requires of each of us unconditional courage. So what do I mean by that? People say unconditional love all the time. Unconditional love, unconditional love, unconditional love, which is amazing and beautiful and a bedrock of a new earth. However, we cannot love unconditionally without unconditional courage. So what does unconditional mean? Unconditional means it's absolute. It's unwavering. It's unshakable. It's undeniable. It doesn't have any conditions to meet. It just is. So it's not like, oh, if this happens, then I'll be brave. I think another way people identify with the word courage is bravery. I'm going to get into the actual definition of courage and what that means to me as a leader. Unconditional, literally unconditional courage. Just like that bird chirping, it's unconditional. It's not stopping. Unwavering, singing its unique song because it has a song to sing. It's not looking around to see if other birds are singing. It's like, I'm here, I'm unconditionally sing. I just love that. I love that happened. And courage. Courage means bravery. Courage means taking action in the face of fear. Courage means taking action in uncertainty. Courage means being vulnerable and risking pain, disappointment, being misunderstood. That's courage. And when we go to the root of the word courage, the root is core. And core means the heart. And so this is very deeply important for me in so many different ways. First of all, I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo sun, and I also have a ton of Leo placements in my astrology chart, and my Chiron is in Leo, and it's just Leo's so deeply connected to the heart. So it makes sense that courage is a huge part of what I do in this lifetime. And courage is such a big part of leadership, and Leo rules leadership. That's why they call it the king or the queen of the zodiac. And so when you think about a lion, like Leo literally rules the heart and the back. So I think of it as like heart-centered living, like strong back, open heart. So it rules the heart. So living from the heart, speaking and living from the heart with truth. And so that's courage. And to me, you know, core means heart. Also, you might not know this about me. I am a classically trained French horn player. I used to gig in orchestras. I actually won a full-time job playing my French horn at a very young age. And I did not follow through on that career because it wasn't the full truth of my heart. And so something about French horns that's really cool to know is that, you know, the root, like It's when you're playing a lot of classical music, the music notation is not written in English. Many times it's written in Latin or French or German or Italian. So I know a lot of random words in other languages just because of music. And when you are playing in an orchestra, it doesn't say horn, it says core. It says core. And that's because that's the root, horn. It's the hero's instrument. Like every time you hear a soaring melody in a movie, it's a French horn. Da 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 da. Name that movie. E.T., of course, talking about space and stars. It takes a lot of courage to play the French horn because in an orchestra, there's one person to a part that plays French horn, okay? Violins got multiple people playing that part. Nobody hears if you miss a note. Nobody hears if you make a mistake. Nobody's gonna know if it was you. Horn is loud. Horn is bold. No one's gonna miss and they're gonna know it's you. So it takes radical courage. It takes unconditional courage. And so why am I bringing this up now? Because we're entering a new timeline of a new earth, and we're entering a new timeline of leadership. And what I see is a lot of people straight up ghosting their visions, a lot of people stuck in fear, a lot of people stuck in scarcity, a lot of people on this thought loops of not enough, not enough, not enough, repeating patterns of 2020. And I'm here to interrupt that with unconditional courage. We cannot make a new earth without unconditional courage. Unconditional courage to go for our dreams. Unconditional courage to take scary action again and again and again. Unconditional courage to be seen in our truth and be misunderstood. We must expect to be misunderstood by most people because we're not taking the road less traveled. We're making a new fucking road. This takes courage. It takes so much courage. It takes courage to go toe to toe with yourself and look at yourself face to face and look at your shadows and heal them and be in deep self-responsibility and deep self-awareness. It takes radical courage to lay down and do breath work and heal your grandma's money story, or heal your own sexual trauma like I have done. It takes so much courage. And it's not just courage once. Anybody can do something once. Unconditional courage, consistent courage is required of all new earth leaders. It's required. It's not optional. If you want to make courage optional, then you're making your dreams optional. If you want to make courage optional, you're making your destiny optional. If you want to make courage optional, you're making God source energy and the whole destiny of a new earth optional. Courage isn't optional. It's the one value that holds the keys to all the rest. And we must have unconditional courage. That's just soaked into our bones and our beings as leaders of a new earth. And so no matter what you're facing, no matter what scares you, how can you meet that with unconditional courage today? And so this is a very short podcast. I knew it would be because sometimes things are just so simple, you don't need to say that much. And so people make things so complicated, and it really is It's not complicated at all. It's confronting. It's not complicated, it's confronting. And the leader grabs their unconditional courage because it's part of who they be. And they advance in the direction of their dreams, in the direction of harmony, peace, equal distribution of wealth, unconditional love, power, regardless of the circumstances. That is unconditional courage. And so this is very simple, and people try to make things complicated because if it's complicated, it means you can't do it. But I'm here to tell you it's not complicated. It's so deeply simple, it's annoying. That's what I said in an email to my email list the other day. So by the way, if you're not on my email list, make sure we're connected there through the link in my show notes. It's not complicated, it's confronting. Ooh, baby. That's how you know you're channeling. I didn't plan on saying that shit. So this is what's required of us. And the final quote, I can't tell you how much courage I have used on a daily basis since I set out on my soul's true dream at the end of 2019, starting mindful music. Every single day, unconditional courage. I've even asked myself the question, what would a brave person do? What would a brave person do? Because when my human was getting in the way of my courage, I had a route for my brain to go on that would reroute me back to my highest self, which is unconditional courage. I look over here as I record this podcast, and I look at the note that I wrote to myself 3 years ago. And it says this, it says, have the courage to follow ideas you believe will make a better world. That's what it says. And so we must do that not once, not twice, not 3 times, a lady. We must do this on repeat, unconditionally, as part of who we are. Another quote I love, and it's from Albus Dumbledore. And I have recently received specific downloads from my guides that New Earth leaders, specifically those of us with Saturn in Aquarius. So if you're Saturn in Aquarius, that means you're like age 31 to 33 at the time of this recording. I want to say born in between 90 and 93. I could be a little bit off on that. We grew up with Harry Potter for a very specific reason. My guides told me, because we were meant to see what spiritual warfare looks like. We were meant to see light workers using their power. We were meant to see how darkness uses power, and we were meant to see how light uses power. And the huge gap I see in the collective, there's a difference between a leader and an aspiring leader. And a leader is someone who has unconditional courage and wields their power to advance the agenda of the light. Aspiring leaders do not own their power because they're scared of it. They have courage sometimes, not unconditionally though, because they're scared and they're not wielding their gifts. They want to wield them. They believe in wielding them, but they are not doing it. Why? Because, they haven't accessed that part of their greatness. They have not mastered it. And by the way, it's a skill set. This is the huge way I help my clients. So if you're interested in working with me, go to the show notes. There's one-on-one mentorship. There's my program 3D moves. But today is this Dumbledore quote. And he said, this was after Neville Longbottom in the first book stood up to Harry when Harry was going to leave at night again because he was going to cost, oh, what's the name of their house? Gryffindor points again. And he was like, I'm not going to let you leave, blah, 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 blah. And so he stood up to him. He stood up to his friend. And so later, when Dumbledore's awarding points, he says, it takes courage to stand up to your enemies, but it takes a great deal more to stand up to your friends. And this is the truth. This is the truth. Haters online are not going to block a new earth. It's going to be the people in your life that you're scared to lose. It's going to be the people in your life that you are scared to offend, that you are scared to be misunderstood by. Unconditional courage means courage no matter what. Courage to follow your heart, courage to live your heart, courage to leap, courage to relish in the risk, courage to walk the sacred path you're being called to walk. So this transmission is for you in every facet of your life as a leader, in your self-leadership, in leadership if you have a business, in leadership the way you share your gifts, in leadership of your relationships, in leadership of how you talk to the cashier when you're buying your groceries. Are you standing there staring at your phone? Or do you have the courage to look them in the eye and say, how are you? And mean it. Unconditional courage. So this is all leading into a very, very, very special invitation. I am leading my first ever free masterclass in over a year, and it's called Courage to Lead. And it is a masterclass, a training for new earth leaders for unconditional courage as a sacred skill set. So I'm going to teach you this skill. Courage is a skill. So this is a free masterclass. It's taking place on May 24th. And if you are listening to this before May 24th, stop what you're doing, go to the link in my show notes and sign up and move mountains to be there live, because this is a line in the sand moment. This is so much more than a masterclass. It's a movement. It is a movement. It's a movement of courage. It's a movement of love. It's a movement of a new earth, of what's truly required. Because people say shit all the time. Rare is the soul that actually does it. Rare is the soul that actually follows through on the scary things. Rare is the soul who actually creates what they know they came here to create. Why? Because it's fucking scary. And leaders do it anyways. Leaders do it anyways. Why? Unconditional courage. What does courage mean? Heart-led. A willingness to live from the heart. Fear is living from the mind. Fear is living from unhealed, unprocessed baggage in your nervous system, which you are responsible for healing. Fault and responsibility are very different things. Courage. Courage to lead. I'm a leader of New Earth leaders, and all leaders must have unconditional courage. And this is what we're doing in this masterclass. So you are invited. It's free. There's literally no reason not to do it except fear itself, which is the whole fucking point of this masterclass. So if you have fear, this is for you. Oh. And if you're listening to this after May 24th, 2023, still go to the link in the show notes because the replay is going to be up there indefinitely. This is free lifetime replay. This is my gift of pouring magic in the service of a new earth. So that is today's transmission. Unconditional courage for you, for the world. Maya Angelou said, courage is the most important value because without courage, you cannot practice any other value consistently. And I love the word consistency. If you've been in my community for a while, I'm the consistency queen. Unconditionally has so much more depth and soul to it. It gives my whole body goosebumps. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. I believe in you. I'm proud of you. A new earth is here. People keep saying one day, one day, one day. That day is today, my friends. Look around in the world. That day is today. So sign up for the masterclass. I cannot wait to see you there. Invite your friends, invite your leader friends, invite all your people. This is a movement of leaders who actually do the things. Courage to lead, baby. Have an amazing rest of your day. Remember that you matter. Remember that if it scares you, you're on the right track. So what would it be like not just to have courage, but to have unconditional courage? And sing your song because you came here to sing something only you can sing. Go out there, be an amazing you, be kinder to yourself and others than you feel like you need to. And be you, be the real you. Have the courage, the unconditional courage to be the real you. Have an amazing, amazing day. I love you so much. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.